As you get to know me through all these videos, you're going to soon learn that I am an avid reader. I mean, I am in love with reading, but I don't like just any kind of book. I don't like novels. I don't read anything about fiction or anything that's fictional. I like to read things that are instructional, that tell me some things to do, the ways of improving my life. And I find that in self-help books. And I have scads and scads of self-help books that I have collected over the years. And what I want to do in this video is tell you the 5 that I think are the best overall. Now, there's a lot on my shelves. I mean, I could talk about 100 of them because the ones that I have and there are still on my shelf are actually really good ones. But I wanted to narrow it down to 5 and tell you why they're among my favorites, and just maybe encourage you to purchase them. The links to all of them will be in the description below. And they're not in any particular order of preference, but I wanted to share them with you and then see if that means anything to you. Many of these you've probably already heard of, but let's start with this one here, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. This is the deluxe edition. You can see I've never even taken it out of the case that it came in. I love the book so much that I have this copy that I've never even opened. It's still in the wrapper. I usually read these paperback versions of them that you can get just about anywhere for pennies. You'll find them in thrift stores, grocery store bookshelves. I mean, these are very common. And I have had about 10 or 15 copies of it, and I've read it so much that it literally falls apart. I mean, I don't know if you can see that underlining there, but I've read this book many times. And even though I think that Napoleon Hill is a little odd at times, and some of the things that he says, some of the stories that he tells, and some of the things he talks about, you wonder if that really happened quite the way he said it did. The principles that he teaches are true, regardless of where he got the information from, because you can see these principles repeated over and over and over again. And my 2 favorite chapters in the book are the chapter on decision, making a decision, knowing what you want to do, and secondly, perseverance, just keeping on doing it until you make it, just being a non-quitter. Now, all 13 chapters are great, but those 2 tend to be my favorites. So if you've never read Think and Grow Rich, I not only encourage you to get it and read it, but I encourage you to read it many times and apply the principles that are in it. A second book that's in the list is this one here, The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. And the reason I like it is because what he says in this book is nothing magical in order to be successful or to accomplish your goals and dreams. He basically says, just do a little bit more than everyone else is doing. I mean, if you'll just go a little further along the way and don't be mediocre, but just go a step beyond everyone else, you'll really get a lot of traction and a lot of success. Turning simple decisions into massive success is the subhead. And turning simple decisions, what he means by that is just making a decision to do something or to do something a little better than someone else. For example, starting this YouTube channel. I mean, I just decided that I was going to do it, and I know it's going to be a long road to get it to the number of subscribers that I want, but I'm going to keep on making these videos, and hopefully they'll be well received by the YouTube community, and I'll get 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 subscribers and up. But it's that taking a little bit more action than other people will take is what he refers to as the slight edge. Now, the next one is Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. And this is actually the newer version of it. I have read the first edition of it and still have it on my shelf, but I picked this one up because it has some updated information long after he passed away. But this book here, written by Maxwell Maltz, who was a plastic surgeon, is written to help you with your self-esteem, how you look at yourself. So many people have a low self-image. And he tells the story of how many people come to him and they have a low self image because they had maybe a scar on their face or there was a disfigurement. And through his plastic surgery, he could get rid of that. But he said in many, many cases, even though he could remove the scar, get rid of the disfigurement and make them look absolutely fantastic or the way they were supposed to look, he said their self-esteem would still be low, even though he made them look better. And his point was self-esteem is not an outward trait. Self-esteem comes from how you view yourself from the inside, looking at all the conditioning that has made you the person that you are. And oftentimes that conditioning that makes us who we are is of a negative nature. And so he walks you through the principles of overcoming that negative self-image and developing a positive one, developing confidence and then having the aspiration and the drive to pursue your goals and your dreams. So that's why that's on the list. And this one here by David Schwartz is called The Magic of Thinking Big. Now, I bought this, the original edition of it, I have still over on my shelf. It's torn all to pieces. It's fallen all to pieces. This is the very first self-help book I ever purchased. And I couldn't believe how good it was. And all he's really talking about here is just having a good outlook on life. Don't think small as far as your ambitions. Don't say, well, I'm only this person and it will be too hard for me to accomplish some really big goals. He basically says in this book, poppycock. You can accomplish anything that you set your mind to. You can do anything that you want to do. This book had a lot to do with me earning my doctorate, my PhD, an accredited 3.5 years it took me to get that thing, but I have 2 master's degrees and a PhD, and I come from a background of family members that are all blue collar workers. Nothing wrong with that. I'm proud of that heritage, but I am the first one in my entire family to earn a doctorate. Only 2 or 3 others actually earned a bachelor's degree, and only 1 other earned a master's degree. And I'm talking about from my mother's side of the family. She had 11 brothers and sisters, which means I had countless cousins. And my dad had 9 brothers and sisters and countless cousins from them. All of them combined, it's only about 4 or 5 of us that have actually earned a degree. And I'm the only one that has gone so far as to earn a PhD, because no one else believes in our family that you could accomplish such a thing. But this book here, just the magic of believing in yourself, thinking big, don't think small. And the subhead is acquire the secrets to success, achieve everything you've always wanted. And again, it's the first one I ever bought. That's why it made the most impression on me, or made a huge impression on me. And that's why it stays on my list, on my shelf. And when it tears up, I buy a new one like this one. And then one of my favorites, and I have read this one several times. I'm actually, as I'm making this recording, I'm reading it yet again. And it's Jim Rohn's The 5 Major Pieces to the Life Puzzle. This was a little harder to find because it came out in 1992, and I don't know if it's in print, but there is an Amazon link to it in the description, and perhaps it's still available through that. But this is Jim Rohn teaching everything he has given in all his speeches over the years. Everything he teaches in his speeches are just consolidated into this little book that you can read in just a couple of hours. And the best chapter in this book is chapter 4 on results, just how to get results and how to enjoy results, what it takes to really reach out and accomplish your goals. But every page of it contains valuable information and nuggets. I've poured through this thing many times, and I'm reading it again. You can see again all the underlining that I have in there. It's just a book that keeps me motivated, reminds me of the basic principles of self-improvement, self-development, and not being afraid to go after my goals and my dreams. And I've had a lot of them over the years, and I've accomplished a lot of things in my life that ordinarily I wouldn't have accomplished. Overcoming the negative influences of my family, who are a bunch of naysayers, who complain about the government, who complain about everything and say you can't do this because of other people. They're blamers. I love them all, but many of them are blamers. I don't play the blame game. If it's going to be, it's up to me, is the old adage, and I live by that. I break through the conditioning that I've had by so many of my families that say, you can't do that. Our family doesn't do those kind of things. As a matter of fact, when I entered into the doctoral program years ago, one of my family members said, you'll never, ever make it. We just don't have it in our family DNA. And I never heard from that person once I finally actually did earn that PhD after I finished writing the dissertation and defended it before my committee. You can accomplish anything you set your mind to, but you have to have the belief within you to do it. You've got to read books like this, and not just read them, but internalize them. Every one of these books that I've shown you here, The Magic of Thinking Big, and Jim Rohn's book, and Psycho-Cybernetics, The Slight Edge, and Think and Grow Rich. These are all books that have motivation in them, but they also have steps to take. And if you'll just apply those principles and do what they say, and believe in yourself, and trust your own judgment, then you can accomplish anything you set your mind to. And I'm going to show you one more just as a bonus. I got this one not long ago. A good friend of mine by the name of Howard Partridge wrote this one, and it's called Failure to Implement. And what he says, basically, the reason most people don't accomplish their dreams is because of what he calls FTI. FTI, failure to implement. In other words, just not getting started, not doing anything, knowing what to do, but not doing it. And in this book, he gives you all the reasons that you can accomplish anything that you want to accomplish. He takes you to a deep dive of looking at yourself and believing in yourself, as all these other books teach as well. So hopefully these books have been, or my insights about these books have inspired you to purchase at least one of them. And if it were me, I would start with Think and Grow Rich and just go from there. But I hope this has been beneficial to you. All the best and have a blessed one.